Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today we have a few great stories ahead of us, so let's get started. Our first story for today. Really, I don't work here anymore. About 12 years ago, I worked for a fast food company that had a division just for telephone orders. I was a desk jockey who had to listen to some of the biggest creeps you can imagine and some of the sweetest people as well. Biggest drawback was having to work until 2 a.m. 2 shifts out of 5, where the scheduler was a total power-mad knob. If she didn't like you, your 2 a.m. closes were scheduled on your second and fourth shifts with a 9 a.m. start after each. Otherwise, you were scheduled at 11 a.m. 9 a.m. starts mean you cleaned the lunchroom, dumped everyone's garbage from their desks, not a big deal, but you finish at 2 a.m., take the bus home, get some sleep, take the bus back to start at 9 a.m. It was pretty rough for some people. I was only getting about 4 hours sleep on those turnaround days. Anyway, 7 to 8 months in, I find another job, give verbal notice to my immediate supervisor, I give written notice to the office manager. In my written notice, I detailed my reasons why I was leaving. First was abuse from the scheduler. Since our office was open 7 days a week and there was a staff of 80 order takers, there was no reason to mess with people like Chantal did. I ended the letter by explaining that I start the new job on X date, that Y date is my final date with the employer, 5-day gap so I can have a small vacation. Last day comes, office manager asked me into her office for my exit interview. Things go well. She clarified that I have ended with them 5 days before I start my new job. I agree, explain that I'm taking a mini vacation before the new job starts. I hand in my swipe card, my work ID, and my key. I get her to sign a receipt that I turned them in, and she accepted them. 2 days later, I get a call from a shift supervisor. Hi, it's noon. You haven't called in, so where are you? I'm confused by this call and explain that I quit. My last day was 2 days ago. I gave notice over 2 weeks ago to her and management. She acknowledges our conversation but says she thought I was thinking of quitting, not actually quitting. I tell her to talk to Mrs. Manager. Now, I've been burned at other crap jobs before, so when I gave my written notice, I made the manager sign and date a receipt that she received the letter, and again at the exit interview, she signed and dated a receipt that I turned everything in. Supervisor calls me back, says manager has no memory of any of this and no letter. I'm on the schedule, and if I don't come in, I'm fired. Now, this employer has a habit of doing this to people. Basically, if they can't work you as their slave, they make sure you're not eligible to apply for benefits. My mom used to date a lawyer, so I go see him. Lay it out for him, including my signed receipts, and ask for advice, as I'm worried they're going to mess up my new job. Apparently, he's already heard about this employer through the grapevine and says he'll take care of it. I go home and find 3 messages from that manager telling me I'm a liar, I never gave notice, I still have my card and key, etc. I call the lawyer, play it all for him. He sends someone over to record the messages. Supervisor calls 2 days later at 9 a.m. asking if I'm coming in for this shift. No, I don't work here. I quit, remember? 3 hours later, supervisor calls again. She apologizes for bothering me when I no longer work there. Apparently, the lawyer went himself with a sheriff's deputy to deliver the letter. That interview started with showing her the receipts that she signed for and accepted my letter of resignation and my card, keys, etc. She agreed that she signed these. She went through her desk and produced the card, keys, etc. Since these were supposed to be turned into the admin staff, deputy tells her he's going to arrest her for theft. Lawyer then plays the voicemail recordings. Lawyer is threatening to charge her with harassment. Owner showed up for a site visit that morning and came to see why there was a sheriff's vehicle out front. Lawyer explains everything, not just my case. Turns out it took the lawyer 2 days as he was pulling everything he could find about this office and this manager. Owner had no idea it was this bad. Places like this have high turnover anyway, so he never thought there was anything weird about the seemingly revolving door. I finished the call with the supervisor with, "Okay, so we're agreed. I don't work there, right? And that I quit? Smart. People should follow your example of getting everything signed for in paper when leaving a job. Good call." And our next story. I got fired from a store I don't work at. Taking my granddaughter shopping at some store in the mall with loud music and obscenely tiny clothing that I would avoid like poison if shopping by myself, we walk in and I immediately notice I'm wearing a near identical outfit to the clerk's. Black shirt, silver pants with a distinct pattern belt. I think to myself, this should be interesting. So there are a couple of, "Can you help me find X?" sorry, I don't actually work here incidents that are unremarkable, but as I'm standing near the changing room, a woman comes up to me without making eye contact or saying a word and tries to put an armload of tried-on clothes in my hands. I step away. Me. Sorry, I don't actually work here. Her. Well, if you're on a break, then why are you out in the middle of the store? Just put these somewhere. Me. No, I know I'm dressed in similar clothes to the clerks, but I'm... Her. I don't appreciate your attitude. She dropped the clothes on the floor and stormed off. So I shake it off. One girl isn't buying anything and the other granddaughter's about ready to check out, but she finds there's a 2-for-1 deal on the item she's buying, so she goes to try to find one more thing. She sends me to hunt down a different size of her garment. While I'm searching the rack, this woman comes back. Her. My daughter's looking for this shirt in blue, like in the online version. Me. Like I was trying to explain earlier, I don't actually... Her. Clapping her hands. Hey, are you going to help me or what? Me. Ma'am, you can stop speaking to me. And seriously reevaluate how you treat those in the service industry. Her. Excuse me? I know I didn't just hear what I heard. I know the owner. You're about to be very, very sorry. She stormed over to the counter, asked for a man by full name, pitches a fit. Some man comes out from the back and makes a phone call. The man motions me over. Manager, whispering, listen, you're new, so there's no way you could have known this, but that's Ross's sister-in-law. He's on the phone for you. I'm thinking to myself, yes, I'd like to speak to Ross very much. So I'm ushered behind the counter, but I stay right there so this woman can hear me. This guy, who I assume is Ross, starts laying into me about how we treat customers and standard of care, and his sister-in-law is the sweetest woman and deserves the utmost respect, and tops it all off with, and if you can't grasp the basic foundation of our 6 pillars of service, you're fired. Me. Well, Ross, is it? I do not work at this store. I'm a customer who happens to be wearing silver pants and a black top. Or at least I was going to be a customer, and proceed to break down for him the public perception of allowing his family to treat employees this way and caring so little about them that he thought I worked for his store. Yet he nor anyone else had ever seen me. The woman was embarrassed, to say the least. They offered me a slew of free merchandise and gift cards, which I did not accept, but did let my granddaughters accept some of, as long as they promised to use it at different outlets of the store. So I guess I won't be switching careers anytime soon. What's funny is that when he thought you were an employee, his sister-in-law was the sweetest woman, but when you told him you were actually a customer, suddenly the tune changed. He knew she was a rude person. Lady didn't know we understood Spanish, and it backfired. Me and my twin are versed in multiple languages. Probably because we're mixed, we know English and Spanish, but we've branched out to more as well. My twin speaks Spanish, Italian, and English, while I speak Spanish, English, a little French, German, Japanese, and Italian. Anyway, to start with the story, me and my twin, gender fluid, though presents more female, was in more masculine clothing today, minus her booty shorts, so we'd been confused for boy-girl twins about 4 times. Of course, this is not our entitled people. We were down about 3 aisles on our list, going to the kitchenware to look for cups, when these Spanish-speaking girls, one of whom wore a Mexican flag, so I assume they were Mexican. Now, my twin had a lanyard on, and I guess they weren't really paying attention to what she was wearing, and started to ask her some questions about where stuff was in broken English. My twin turned to them and explained maybe we could point them in the right direction, as we shop here a lot, but that stuff had been moved around recently, so we didn't have an idea either. They seemed nice enough and apologized for not realizing it. But as soon as they turned away, they started chattering, and what they said came out to, in Spanish, that stupid ugly gringa, couldn't he or she or it, reverting to English word for it, just explain that they didn't work here? They favored in referring to my twin as it. The other girl piped up, yeah, it should have. Don't even know why saying it in English was comfortable coming in public. Stupid ugly-ass gringa. My twin's face was mad and sad at the same time. They just wanted to leave, but I wasn't having any of it, so I turned around and said at the top of my lungs, "Coño lo que dice?" which translates to, C-word says what? They both turned, and the color drained from their faces. I proceeded to yell at them about how all we were was nice, and that their Chicana bus were going to trash talk my sibling for being nice and respectful, and that they shouldn't have to say anything about not working there, as it was clear from how we were dressed, as Wally World has strict employee uniforms. They frowned and got mad at me for scolding them, and my twin had to pull my arm to get me to walk away, but not before I repeated said above and then said comer mierda, which translates into eat crap, and flipped them off. Honestly, I don't know why they felt the need to be so rude, for one, and for two, y'all trash in Spanish because they thought we wouldn't understand them and it wouldn't pass by our ears. I don't know if it counts as entitlement, but they were definitely rude and also threatened to get a manager, but my twin and I quickly left as we were done shopping for the day after that. Thanks for watching the video to the end, and I hope you enjoyed today's stories. We'll see you again soon.